All right, good evening. My name is Bob Connors. It is now 6:03 p.m. I'd like to call the May 4th meeting of the Newbury Conservation Commission to order. Mason, can you please read the preamble to the remote meeting law and take a roll call of the members present?
As a preliminary matter, this is Mason Ferret, Conservation Agent of the Newbury Conservation Commission. Please permit me to confirm that all members are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. A couple more guests joining. 1 second. Mary Rimmer, Dave Clifford,
David is here. David might be on mute, but I saw his.
Mick Brown, I think he's not here tonight. Harry
No.
Trout,
Here.
Woody Knight. I think
Woody,
Woody's
you're
here
on
as
mute
well.
if you're, yeah. Woody, Frank.
Frank Wettenkamp
Here.
and Bob Connors.
Yes.
Good evening. This open meeting of the Newbury Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we've been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the Newbury Conservation Commission is convening by Zoom conference as posted on the agenda of the Conservation Commission section of the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Applicants or their representatives may be called upon to speak and or share information to the screen if able on the fly. We're now turning to the first item on the agenda, but before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct. The chair will first introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone, please use earbuds, and please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. Board and committee members should be called upon in a first name alphabetical order to ease the process. After board and committee members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment as follows. The chair will first seek questions through the chat function. When participants are using this function, please list your name, address, and then your question. The chair will then seek questions from the public who wish to speak. They'll be asked to identify their name, address, questions, and once the chair has a list of all public commentators, they'll call on each by name and afford 3 minutes for any comments. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote.
Okay, thank you, Mason. Upcoming meeting dates. We have our next scheduled meeting is June 2nd, 2026. There is a strong likelihood that we may be scheduling a second meeting for the month of May. We have a couple of applicants tonight that do not have DEP file numbers, and so we're not going to be able to do much with those. And to accommodate them, we may be scheduling a meeting towards the end of the month, probably just prior to Memorial Day. So, first order of business, meeting minutes review, March 3rd, 2026. Why don't we take a moment, want to review those for comments, concerns, or corrections? Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the March 3rd meeting minutes as written.
So moved. Second.
Okay, roll call, all in favor. Woody,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors. Okay, next matter is meeting minutes review for April 7th, 2026. Again, why don't we take a moment, review those for any comments, concerns, or corrections? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the April 7th, 2026 meeting minutes as written.
So moved.
Second. All right, roll call, all in favor. Woody,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Okay, extension request, DEP file number 0501-339, 75 Boston Road. The applicant is requesting an extension of the permit set to expire in the summer of 2026. Mason, I'm assuming they're looking for a 3-year extension.
Yes, I believe so. This is a town project. The project manager on this before was Sam Kuda. I believe they've had some turnover, so I'm not sure if someone else is here to represent tonight. But I did reach out to the office to let them know that they were on the agenda for tonight's extension.
Okay, is this the solar array down at the town dump site?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Maureen, are you representing on this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We are requesting a 3-year extension
What
for the
what is
project.
what is the date of expiration that we're operating shorthanded because Mason's in his car, Maureen, because of no power in Byfield or Town Hall. So
I heard.
Okay.
Good job, Mason. So the permit was issued July 6th of 2021. It was good through July 6th of 2024. But then we have the Mass Leads Act as well. So that brings us to July 6th of 2026. And we're requesting a 3-year extension. Now, apparently the work has not started because there was some issues with the solar tax credits.
Right. Yeah.
So
Is there a particular day so you're making a request that this matter be extended to July, what day of July?
July 6th of 2029.
Okay. Okay, questions from the members. They're entitled, our practice and our policy has been matching the wetland bylaw of Plum Island, which is an automatic extension upon request. So any questions from the members on this? Any raised hands from the public at this time? Okay, I will entertain a motion to issue an extension for 75 Boston Road, dated to expiring July 6th, 2029.
So moved.
Do we
Second.
have, okay, roll call, all in favor? Woody,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors. Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a certificate of compliance, DEP file number 050-1400 6 Courtney Drive. The applicant is looking to close out an order of conditions issued for the addition to a house within the buffer zone and for after the fact approval of landscape alterations. Mason, can you provide an overview and a recommendation on this?
Yeah, so the applicant and their representative are still gathering some additional information, so this will not be discussed tonight, and they're looking to pick up discussion at the following meeting.
Okay, as this isn't a public hearing, it doesn't require a motion to continue. Mason, we'll just put this on the agenda of our next scheduled meeting.
Yep.
Okay, next matter, a certificate of compliance for DEP file number 050-1415 3 Main Street. The applicant seeks to close out an order of conditions for the construction of a new house within the buffer zone. Mason, can you provide an overview and a recommendation on this matter?
Yep, I was able to do the site walk today. They also submitted an as-built plan and an as-built letter that identifies some of the changes between the approved plan and the existing conditions now. I believe that is in the folder, and off the top of my head, the only big differences I saw were additional pavement where gravel was proposed. So you can see that on the as-built letter and plan. And besides that, I saw no other significant changes while I was on site. I think the other ones mentioned in the letter are regarding erosion controls and the placement of erosion controls. So I don't see any issues with those. I think the board should ask or discuss the additional pavement. And besides that, I have no other comments.
Okay, is the applicant on the call?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hi, give us your name and address, Joe, and just walk us through where you're at and explain the hot top situation, just primarily the rationale and how much extra hot top went in.
Yes, my name is Joseph Brennan, 3 Main Street, Byfield. And the area which we did It was just because the gravel didn't, it was a bit of a pitch to the gravel, so we were afraid it might move, so we wanted to just pave it to secure it.
Okay, and what would you estimate the pavement square footage was versus what the gravel square footage was?
I don't have those numbers. Paul Marchand is on the line, he might.
Okay, Paul, just give us your name and your position on this project, and if you have, I mean, Joe, is it 20 feet of pavement you've added, the width of the driveway, or,
Yeah, I would say it's about 20.
okay. Okay, questions from the members? Any questions from the members? Woody, any questions for Joe?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, thank you. Harry, any questions on this matter?
Not at this time, Bob.
Thank you, Harry. Frank, any questions?
No, Bob.
David, any questions?
No, sir.
And I don't have any questions. Are there any raised hands from the public at this time?
Seeing none.
Okay. Mason, do you have any extraordinary concern? Obviously, pavement on Plum Island would be a little bit different than pavement in Byfield.
Yeah, with it already being proposed as gravel, I think the impacts were already accounted for.
Yeah.
And with this being a single family house that doesn't trigger stormwater, I don't see any major issues.
Okay. All right. Do any members have a request for a site visit or additional information?
No.
Okay,
No.
I will. I'm sorry. Was there anyone that sent? Okay. All right. I will entertain a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 3 Main Street.
So moved?
Second.
Second. Okay. Roll call. All in favor. Woody,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors. All right. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.
Okay. Next matter is a request for a determination of applicability. 10 Old Point Road. The applicant is submitting an RDA for the installation of a shed on Plum Island. Mason, can you provide an overview and a recommendation on this matter?
Yep. Again, I don't have the file in front of me, so I'm not 100% sure on the size, but I believe it's an 8x8 shed going on Old Point Road. We had an RDA come into us earlier this year, or maybe it was last year, for the reconstruction of their patio area. So I don't see any issues with the 8x8 shed. My recommendation would be that it get elevated somehow. So I think we've permitted this with concrete blocks in the past and having it, above base grade. Outside of that, I think they have a small room. If the commission were to inquire about mitigation planting as well, there's definitely area on site where I could coordinate with them after approval to get some native plants in there.
Okay, in the location, if as you recall, the location where the shed's going, is it heavily vegetated now? Is it sparse?
It may even be lawn. I was able to briefly check it out today, but I think the
Okay.
homeowner is on, and she may be able to.
Sheila,
explain
is this where you live, Sheila?
Yes, yes,
Hi.
hi.
Yeah, Sheila, just give us your name and address, and then if we have a couple of questions, it'd be great if you could answer them.
You bet. Sheila Christensen, 10 Old Point Road. Just
Okay.
wanting to put the patio, the shed, it's an 8x8 Eastern shed. It's level ground. There are no plantings around it. I was going with the level ground. I was wanting to know the best way, what the recommendations were to accommodate I know water is a concern sometimes underneath, and I thought cinder blocks or stone, whatever. I just wanted some advisement on how to do the installation piece.
Yeah, in the past, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mason, we've just recommended an 8x8x16 cement block, cinder block.
Yep.
And it just keeps you up off the ground so that it's still pervious surface underneath. I think the only thing is, what's there for vegetation now, Sheila? Do you have
It's
just grass,
just grass,
like lawn type mow grass or beach grass?
lawn type grass.
Okay.
It's
Is the
just a
whole,
fenced-in yard area, and I just wanted to make sure, I'm luckily it is level where I want to put it, and
right,
Eastern Shed checked it out, but I have the cinder blocks ready to roll, and it'd be nice to get my bike out of my house.
okay,
Put it
okay.
in a shed.
All right, questions from the members. Woody, any questions on this?
I think you all just covered it. If it's on a lawn area and it's on blocks, it sounds good to me.
Okay, thank you, Woody. Harry, how about you? Any questions on this one?
No.
Frank, how about yourself?
No questions, Bob. Thank you.
David, any questions on this project?
No questions, no, Bob.
All right, I don't have any. Mason, are there any raised hands from the public at this time?
Seeing none.
Okay. Do any members have a request for a site visit or additional information? Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to issue a negative finding for 10 Old Point Road.
So moved?
Second,
Sec- Okay, so Sheila, what to do is when you start construction, why don't you talk to Mason?
Mhm.
Typically, if you're displacing some vegetation, we ask that you put it in another spot, so it's not we don't have a loss of vegetation in the yard, but I think you can handle that with Mason in the
Yes,
field.
and there won't be any, that won't be a problem, but I thank you, and I
Well, we
have
still have to vote on it, but
oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry. I'm an eager beaver, wanting to get this done.
how big a bicycle is in your house that you're this motivated to get it out of there?
Definitely, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's a 1200 cc Harley, as I recall. All right, roll call vote. All in favor. Woody,
yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors vote yes. Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you. One quick question. Is there a wait period? Can I call Eastern Shed and tell them that the town approved? Is there a waiting? Is this done deal or?
It's done from our standpoint, but Mason, why don't you just chime in because it does have to go to DEP, and I think they have 10 days.
Yeah, there's a 10 business day appeal period. But that being said, I think you could at least start to mobilize everything. I wouldn't expect an appeal for a project this simple.
Great, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sheila. All right. Next matter is a request for determination of applicability. 127 Northern Boulevard. The applicant is submitting an RDA for the construction of a deck and replacement of an existing stairway. Mason, can you give us an overview and your recommendation on this matter?
Yep. Yeah. So this is an existing, kind of like a landing space now with a staircase going out of the back of the house. This is not on the primary dune. This is on the other side of the street. But yeah, looking to, sorry, I don't have my folder on me, but I believe it's the replacement of the landing. In the area has already been impacted and disturbed, and they're changing the use from a flat kind of patio area to a deck. So in the folder, they have the proposed plans with where they would install the helical piles, I believe.
Yeah, no,
So I
I'm
think
looking at it
everything's-
right now. It's specific with measurements and locations. So one quick question, what's the elevation? How far above grade is this deck? Is this 3 or 4 feet above grade or a couple of feet above grade?
Yes, it is. I may have some photos.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just more curious. Showing 5 steps going up, so that's probably closer to 30 inches.
Let me see if I can find a good picture.
All right. All right, questions from the members. Woody, any questions on this request?
No, the only clarification I have is, it's a patio area now, so the deck's just going above it. Mason?
Yeah, I'll be able to pull it up 1 second. It's it's just kind of like a landing and a staircase that goes down to an area where they already have pavers there.
Are they removing the pavers under the
I
deck?
believe so.
Okay. This is very impressive. You're showing us pictures from your car here. Well, allegedly showing us pictures from the front seat of your car.
Yes. I will have something to share in 1 second. All right, let me know. Can you guys see this right here?
It looks like you're getting ready. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Is the applicant on the call?
I believe either the homeowner or the builder is on. Someone should be on.
The homeowner is on the call.
Great. Just give us your name and address, and we have a couple of quick questions for you.
Jim Mitchell, 127 Northern Boulevard.
Okay. Jim, welcome. So Jim, looking at the plan, thank you. You've put everything on it that gives us clarity of what you're looking to do. I guess the only question is, are you leaving the existing pavers? It's your right to do that, or are you removing them?
The plan is to remove the pavers.
Okay. All right. Woody,
Thank
any
you.
other questions?
No, I understand, got a better understanding of it now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Woody. Harry, any questions for the Mitchells?
No questions at this time, Bob.
Thank you, Harry. Frank, any questions for the Mitchells?
No, Bob, thank you.
Thank you, Frank. David, how about yourself?
No, Bob.
Thank you, David. And I have no questions. Are there any raised hands from the public at this time?
Seeing none.
Okay, do any members have a request for a site visit or additional information?
Nope.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to issue a negative finding for 127 Northern Boulevard.
So moved.
Do you have a
Second.
second? Okay, roll call, all in favor. Woody,
Yes,
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors. All right, thank you.
All right, so that means we can go ahead and have Steve Lowry start when he's
You get a 10-day waiting period if you heard it.
10-day. Yeah, that's what you.
It's 10 business days. So Mason will draw up these documents. Certainly when town hall has power again, hopefully that's tomorrow. And then it gets submitted to DEP and they have 10 business days to appeal it or intervene.
Okay.
Typically, it's not the case, but I just wait the 10 days, to be honest with you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
thank
very
you very
much.
much. Okay, next matter is request for determination of applicability. 12 Plumbush Downs, the applicant is submitting an RDA for the construction of a back deck on an existing dwelling. Mason, can you provide an overview and a recommendation on this matter?
Yep. So this is on Plumbush Downs on the back side of the house. The deck is anchored to the existing structure. So it's all tied into the H or I beams that they have now. There's no concrete sonotubes or helical piles. But for this deck extension, I don't have the square footage off the top of my head, but he is proposing helical piles as well. And then this is all in buffer zone to the salt marsh.
Okay, any displacement of existing vegetation that they're going to have to replicate?
I have some photos that I'm trying to pull up now, and I believe it's lawn for the most part.
Okay. All right, questions from the members. Woody, any questions on this one?
no questions at the moment, Bob, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Woody. Harry, how about you? Any questions?
No, not at this time, Bob.
Thank you, Harry. Frank, how about yourself? Any questions?
No, no questions, Bob.
Thank you, Frank. David, any questions?
No, Bob.
And I have no questions. Are there any raised hands from the public at this time?
Seeing none, sorry.
Okay. Do any members have requests for a site visit or additional information?
No,
All right, I'll entertain a motion to issue a negative finding for 12 Plumbush Downs.
So moved?
Second.
Okay, Harry, Woody, roll call, all in favor. Woody,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David. David?
He's muted.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, David. And Bob Connors votes yes. 12. All right. Okay, next order of business is, it's a new public hearing. This does not have a DEP file number as of yet. It's 23 Downfall Road. The applicant is submitting an ANRAD to confirm the delineated wetlands on this property. Mason, can you give us an overview on this one and where we stand?
Yep. So this is an undeveloped lot off of Downfall Road. I was able to go out and look at the delineation today. It was pretty straightforward for the most part. I think it's only about 20 flags or so. Out of the 20, there was about 3 of them. I think off the top of my head, it was wetland flags A9 to A12 that could have been moved upland probably about 10 feet. I was able to probe and check soils to confirm. And we also had a little bit of skunk cabbage just upland of that wetland line, which is indicative of, hydraulic soils. So I think that, it would be good to approve if the applicant were to accept the amendments to the ANRAD, or if it's something that they, wish to discuss out in the field or review further. I think that would be fine as well.
Okay, is the applicant here? We can't take any final action, obviously, tonight because we don't have a file number. Is the applicant present and want to add comments?
Not seeing, but if they're here, feel free to speak up.
They might be involved in the power outage as well, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Downfall.
that's true. They are right there.
Okay. All right, well, we can't take any final action. Why don't we do this? I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing to June 2nd, 2026.
So moved?
Second.
Okay. Okay, roll call, all in favor? Woody,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors. All right, so this is continued to 2026 two. All right.
Bob,
Bob,
before we go to the next meeting item, we have one more RDA that was on an amended agenda that was posted. Apologies if that didn't get to you.
You know what? It didn't. Well, why don't you do this, Mason? Why don't you read the citation and I'll just handle or I don't have that. It wasn't on the agenda. I had pulled off the site. So.
Yeah, so they had submitted everything on time. This is an RDA for 31 Northern Boulevard, and the applicant is submitting an RDA for the reduction and reconstruction of an existing deck. So there's a deck that's there now attached to the house. I believe it has concrete sonar tubes that are existing, but they are proposing to deconstruct the deck and reconstruct in a smaller footprint.
Okay, and presently the sonar tubes are being removed. Helical coil would be, or diamond pairs would be used.
Yes, I believe so, and we can confirm with the builder. He is here.
Okay. Tom, is this you? Tom, you're on mute. There you go.
Yeah, okay. There we go. Yes, it's me. And if you have some questions, I know
I will entertain a motion to continue.
Well, everyone's on different phone. Everyone has different meetings going on apparently. So, Tom, your plan is to remove what's there. You're replacing it in a smaller footprint.
Correct.
And you'll be on either helical or diamond piers when you're done.
Be helical piles.
Okay.
2 courses of helical piles. It's only a 7.5 by 22 foot long deck. Pretty standard.
Okay. Questions from the members? Any questions for Tom? Actually, why don't you just give us your name and the address for the record?
Yeah, it's, you want the address of the, job?
Yeah, just to identify yourself and the address of the job.
Yeah, it's Thomas Gorenflo, and I'm the builder for 31 Northern Boulevard.
Okay. All right, questions from the members? Woody, any questions for Tom on this deck reduction?
No, sounds pretty straightforward. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, Harry, any questions for Tom on this?
No questions right now, Bob. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Harry. Frank, how about yourself? Any questions for Tom on this?
No, no questions, Bob.
Okay, David, any questions?
No, Bob.
Thank you, David. And I have no questions. Any raised hands from the public at this time?
Seeing none.
Okay. Any members have a request for a site visit or additional information? Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to issue a negative finding on 31 Northern Boulevard.
So moved?
Second,
Okay, roll call, all in favor? Woody,
yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Okay, thank you, Tom.
All right, thank you much. Good night.
All right. Okay, next matter is a new public hearing. It's a DEP. Okay, excuse me, this is where I was when we overlooked the RDA.
Yes.
All right, so we have a new public hearing. DEP file number is not available, 23 Downfall Road. Applicant submitting an ANRAD to confirm the delineated wetlands on the property. So Mason, where are we at on this one?
Yes, for 23 Downfall. This is the one that I had some recommendations for some flag amendments, and I think we're going to see if the applicant is here.
Okay, yeah, if the applicant's here, if you could just give us your name and address. Just make sure you're not on mute if you were here. Apologize, we don't have your name. Okay, we'll do this again. The applicant's not here. They don't have a file number, so the matter needs to be continued. I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing to our June 2nd, 2026 meeting.
So moved?
Second?
Second,
Okay, roll call. All in favor? Woody,
yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. All right. Okay, next matter is a new public hearing for a DEP file number 0501462, 177 Middle Road. The applicant is submitting a notice of intent to construct a new single-family home and associated work within the buffer zone. Mason, can you give us an overview and a recommendation on this matter?
Yep. So this is an undeveloped lot right now. They have an old gravel road that's running through it, and they're proposing the construction of a new house, as well as the installation of a septic system. I was able to go out to the site today. There's 3 different wetland areas that were marked, and I was able to review them. I wasn't able to take soils, but a lot of them are pretty self-explanatory based off of topography and the existing conditions out there. That being said, I know it's normal course of action for the commission to schedule a site walk for new notices. So that would be my recommendation. And besides that, I think Bill is here to present and answer any questions.
Okay, if you could give us your name and address and then make your presentation, that'd be great.
Yep, William Holt from 83 West Main Street in Merrimack. I'm representing the applicant as the engineer and who designed the plans. Can I share my screen? Would that be
Certainly.
acceptable? So,
Just give me 1 second.
oh, sorry.
Phil, did that ever happen to you where you lost power at town hall when you were our conservation agent?
Yeah, we had that happen a couple of times. Actually, Zoom went out once. I don't know if it was power or the Zoom itself went out. The internet was a problem.
You should be able to share now, Bill.
Great, thank you. Let me see if I can call it up.
Yep.
sorry. Can you see that?
Not
Probably not, huh?
yet.
Wait a minute. Can you see that? Boom. Can you see that screen?
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah,
we can.
okay, great, thanks. So this is the plan. It's a little small. I'll make it a little bigger in a second. Figure out how. Sorry. Been a while. And I make this. So I'm going to make it a little bigger so we can kind of walk through the property.
So, Bill, we're not seeing your plan, we're just seeing the drop-down table of your PDFs.
Okay. Hold on a second. Right here, this.
Yeah, that's all we're saying, Bill. We're not seeing the actual file.
How about that?
No, it's still just
No?
the. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Bingo.
Well, that's
See it
what
now?
we have.
Yeah, could you zoom in on that a little bit?
Yep. So I'm going to start up the. Well, actually, let me just give you a overall first.
Okay.
You can see
Thank
the
you.
whole property. It's about 9 acres total property. This is 177 over here, 177 Middle Road. It's, Bill Varia owns that property. He owns the whole property, actually. Chris Clifford is my client. He's purchasing about 3 acres of the property in this area here. And so his frontage is up here on the upper part of the property, upper part of the plan. We're Middle Road. That's his 125 feet of frontage. There's an existing Woods Road, no right of way. Whoops. No right of way that comes down through the property and actually goes on to the abutter's property and out to Newburyport Turnpike. At one point, it was an old way, and it's actually it's on one of the old plans for the property. So he's going to access that same driveway, that same access, Old Woods Road, for the most part, to get access to the buildable portion of the property. So this is a little bit closer view of where it's going to access. So Middle Road right here, edge of the pavement. There's a large stone post at the corner wall located here. The applicant is going to propose to build a similar post on this side of the driveway, so to highlight the driveway is. This is the existing graveled road, the driveway. It's going to basically regrade it slightly, about 4 to 6 inches of grading to kind of fill in the little puddles and level it off a little better to drive through. You can see the grades, the 28.8, 28.6. It's only a couple of tenths either side of the roadway, the driveway, so this levels off a little bit. And it's slightly sloping down and then up again through this area. You can see the wetlands A series is here. The C series is on this side of the driveway. So this uses the existing driveway. And then we kind of follow the existing path. The driveway goes through here. Not much grading through this area, just going to follow the existing grades. Then right here, you'll see a existing path that goes off to the Varia property, where he uses this access to get to where he has logging operation where he brings logs in and cuts them up and sells them as firewood. That's his worth. He does on his property. So right about here, we're going to start grading the driveway up a little bit. There's a little bit of a low spot right in this area. It's like an old silver mine or some kind of a excavation where they took gravel or something off the land. There's a hole right here that we actually tried to perk it there, but it didn't perk very well. So we're going to fill that in, grade it up to the house. The house is going to be located here. Is the 100-foot buffer zones right through there, and then on this side through here. So the house itself, the driveway up in this area will be out of the buffer zone. And then so you can see the proposed house located here, 4-bedroom garage, a new driveway, turn around so we can get into his garage, and then they'll just keep this existing driveway in place so it gets back to off the property. Property lines right through here. And then the septic system, the only place we'd find a place to perk way in the back. We actually dug about 15 holes. There's one here, there's one. We pocketed the whole area, just dug holes until we could. Most of these were less than 5 foot deep due to ledge, so we didn't get any depth. Therefore, we couldn't perk. We couldn't place a system there. We ended up finding a spot near the back that was on the side of a hill, top of a little bit of a knoll, and that would be able to get depth and be able to locate the system here. So the tank will come out and be gravity the whole way down to this area. There's a little bit of grading in the buffer zone through here for the to keep the gray above the pipes and keep them covered. But the system's located here. We have erosion control, the limit of work, the whole entire project. At the closest point, the septic system is 57 feet to flag B17. And then on this side, the closest one is at B26, where the septic will be 73 feet. 50 feet is Title V and DEP requirement. So we meet Title V and DEP requirements for the location of the septic. And for the roof itself, we have a roof runoff we're proposing, and for the house, a little infiltration of the roof runoff, which is city clean water by DEP, so it goes directly in. And then we have a little trench along the side, stone trench along the side of the driveway, downhill side, so any water that comes down will into the trench and be treated and infiltrated. We have details for those on the plan, and the trench for the driveway, and that's the infiltration system for the roof runoff, and we size those DB requirements. So that's basically the plan. It's mostly all buffer work. There's no disturbance of any of the wetland line. Wetlands was identified by Mark West. We hired him to fly the wetland. We have B series here that starts about middle of the property. So the peak here, it goes back the other way, but that's going off the property, so we didn't flag that direction, just down towards Turnpike. And then a small depression over here, the D series that he identified off-site that we located just to get the buffer zones related to that.
Bill, point out where's your erosion control? I'm sorry if I missed.
The erosion control is this dashed line right here. It's labeled proposed TEC.
Okay.
Almost 1,000 feet of 12-inch raw water we're calling for. So it's this dark line.
Gotcha.
It's at the edge of all the grading. It keeps going all the way to the front.
Where is the 50-foot buffer in relation to the house?
Here's the house. Oops, sorry. Here's the house. The 50-foot buffer is this red line right here.
I don't know.
Okay. And what's your status at the Board of Health, Bill? Is the system been approved, or is that still pending?
She has it now. She's reviewing it. Has not been approved yet. I didn't get a chance to talk with her today, but I know she has it and is reviewing it.
All right, so, Bill, why don't I stop you there and open this up to questions from the members?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
Want me to leave it on or stop sharing? I can stop
yeah,
sharing.
no, yeah, leave it on for now, I guess. Woody, any questions for Bill on this matter?
No,
site visit's going to be in order anyway, Woody, I think. But
yeah, no, I don't have any questions, and I anticipated a site visit, so no, I'm good for now.
Okay. Harry, any questions?
No, not at this time, Bob.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you, Harry. Frank, how about yourself? Any questions?
No questions right now, Bob.
Okay, David, any questions?
No, I did have a question about the not the trench detail, but the servicing of it, but that's actually captured here on the drawing. So no, I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you, David. I don't have any questions. Phil, before we check for raised hands from the public, we're gonna schedule a site visit on this.
Yep.
For the obvious reason. All right, are there any raised hands from the public at this time that have questions? Hi.
Yes, I have
Yeah,
a question.
Okay, just give us your name and your address.
My name is Patty, and I live at 216 Newburyport Turnpike. Our property is, if you look at this map, on the right side. So our only question is, I know you spoke briefly on runoff, but we're within, the house is being built 220 feet from our property line. And if you're within 100 feet of wetlands, we're just concerned about where the runoff is going to go. You're going to have a roof, you'll have a driveway. So we're just concerned that runoff will end up on our property, and just curious how that will be addressed.
Yeah, Phil, why don't you repeat what you were talking about with the infiltrators and roof runoff drains?
Yep. Okay. So the roof runoff is going to go into a internet connection is unstable. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
The roof runoff is going to go into a downspout and go into an underground storage chambers. They're plastic chambers, and it's surrounded by stone. And that's designed to infiltrate a good amount of the rainfall for the lower storms, which actually reduces the storms down to the.
Okay, I kind of lost you there.
Should be.
Yeah, Bill, you're
before they do the work.
For whatever reason, Bill, you're
after you do the work.
breaking.
Yeah.
Is this for?
Go ahead, Patty.
Is this for all the is it for the wetlands, the roof, and the driveway? Is this system built to, absorb all of that?
Well, it's a single family lot, so it's not required to have stormwater necessarily, but because we're proactive, it does have some infiltration for what's considered the most critical runoff, which is off the driveway and off the impervious areas, which is where you get your most increase from. So that's why we designed two types of systems to decrease that amount of runoff. But to be honest with you, none of this is coming your way. All this runoff is coming from this area, down this way, down that way, down this way. There's a little valley in here.
Okay.
So
that was our
ridge that goes kind of along the driveway. So we're not doing anything on the other side of the driveway. Other than a little bit of grading, we have a well we're proposing to put in. Right. Oops, sorry. Right in this location, just to the left of the well, just to the left of the house. We propose a well here. And that could go in a different location. It can go down further, it can go up here further, depending on.
So Patty, I think your question's been answered that there's no runoff going in your direction because of
okay. Yeah, that was our only concern.
Yeah. Anything else, Patty?
I was just a little confused about what he was speaking about towards the turnpike. You were mentioning something over by Route 1, and I didn't understand what that was about.
Yeah, so this is your lot right here that I'm looking at right in this area with lights.
Yes.
And there's a little tiny depression right here, right off it's on your property actually.
Right. Oh yeah, where the culvert is.
I think your driveway is right about here somewhere, and
yes,
to the left of your driveway, the property line's right here. So, but because it's within 100 feet, our botanist put 4 flags there and said, measure 100 feet from these 4 flags because that will be the buffer zone to the a very big wetland. I don't know if it has an inlet and outlet. It's probably just a little depression that was trapped by the highway and your driveway and all that. So it's very small. I mean, I don't know if it's even jurisdictional, but we just flagged it.
Yeah.
He showed us where the 100 feet was. So that's why we, it's there. So we identified it. But it's not a lot. And then this is the major wetlands down to here on client's property.
All right, great. Anything else, Patty?
All set. Thank you very much for answering our questions.
Yep.
Thank you. Mason, are there any other raised hands from the public at this point?
Seeing none.
Okay, if you have an interest in this property, make sure you're unmuted and just give us your name and address. Otherwise, we're gonna be moving on. All right, this usually around this time is, do any members have a request for a site visit or additional information, plan amendment to this notice of intent? I think a site visit would be in order. I think it would be prudent just to go out and Bill, I think, Bill, your presentation was excellent. Thank you. So what's our pleasure? We in agreement on a site
So,
visit?
for the sidewalk, once you determine a date, oh,
Okay. Well, we're determining whether, I've made the suggestion, Bill. Let's see what the other members think.
Yeah,
Does
Bob,
everyone-
I'd like to do a site visit.
Okay.
Yep, it would be helpful.
All right. Typically, how's next Tuesday at 8 o'clock sound to everybody?
Sounds good.
Okay. Oh, Mary,
Hi,
welcome.
sorry. Yes, that sounds great to me.
Okay.
All
All
8
right.
o'clock at night or 8 o'clock in the morning? Sorry. 8
Hey,
o'clock in the morning, I assume?
morning.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
So we're going to schedule a site visit for 8 a.m. on next Tuesday, which is, what's the date on that?
The 12th.
So it'll be 5/12/26. Okay. And Bill, at this time, you're going to request the continuance to our next meeting?
Yes, please. We ask for continuance till the next meeting,
Okay.
and we'll see at the site walk. I'll make sure I have the house staked and the septic staked, so you can
Okay.
see where those are gonna go.
That'd be great. Okay, I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing at the applicant's request to our June 2nd, 2026 meeting.
So moved?
Second,
All right. Roll call, all in favor. Mary,
Yes.
Woody,
yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors. Thank you, Bill.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Mason, you mentioned that the gentleman from 23 High Downfall was on the call. He just
Yes, I
signed in.
believe
Ben
so.
Osgood is Ben. Ben, if you unmute, we called your matter, and you don't have a DEP file number, so there's really no final action we can do.
Right.
And we've continued it to our June 2nd meeting, just so you're not waiting.
Okay,
around.
no, I
It's-
appreciate that. I apologize. I thought the agenda was said 7:05, so I thought it wouldn't be till 7:05, but no problem at all. I
Okay.
didn't expect that you would do anything.
Yeah, well, we can't entertain final action anyway, so
Right.
I think hopefully we'll get the file number. And why don't you talk to Mason? I don't know if you have or not offline. There was some
I will.
information that he was going to recommend be added to the NRED, so.
Okay. I will talk to him. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So next matter is DEP file number 0501463, 75 Pearson Drive. The applicant is submitting a notice of intent for an on-site septic system replacement for an existing single-family dwelling. Mason, can you give us an overview on this one?
Yep. So I was able to go out to the site today, confirm the delineation that was on site that was already flagged. This is kind of going in a pocket of the yard. There's not a lot of room for this to go, so it looks like they perked just beyond where their existing above ground pool is. And I don't see any issues with that.
Okay. Questions? Who's the applicant on this?
Bill is the applicant again on this one.
Okay. Bill, where are you at on the Board of Health on this one? Are you still, is that?
That one has been filed as well. Again, I believe it's been approved, but I have to double check with Deb.
Okay.
But I have a plan if you want. Otherwise, I can just.
Yeah, why don't you show us the plan? I
Right,
don't think that would
that.
be helpful. And I'll open this up to questions to the members.
Can you see that plan?
Yes, we can, Bill. If you could
Okay,
just
perfect.
zoom in on that a little bit, it might be,
Yep.
might be a little easier. There we go.
So this is the street down the front here, Pearson Drive. On the left-hand side of the plan, there's the existing driveway. There's their existing house. And pool, as Mason mentioned, and deck. Property line is along here. And then it comes around the back. It's a big trapezoid, essentially, into the front. We looked at the front out front here. You can see the buffer, the wetlands line traverses from the back. Flag 1, this is a wall, stone wall in the back. And it comes along here. And then it comes off the site a little bit, and then back on to the site, or off edge of the site, and then still off the site over here. And then we stopped here because the old system is in the back, the tanks here, and the old leach pits in this area right here. In order to keep the plumbing going in the same direction, we were trying to stay in the back. We had limited space, goes over here. You can see the wetland line, and the 50-foot is this dock line right here. So we had to stay on this side of the line, with the pool on the deck and setbacks to those. We really only had a little spot right in here we could perk in the back. In the front, we had this area up here. But I looked at the soil maps and did a couple of tests with the auger, and it was very clear in the front. So we did not run. So we end up perking in the back here, and we are just 51 feet to the wetlands line with the leach bed, and 50 from this one. The tanks are 58 feet from the closest point on the wetlands. But we still meet Title V in the Wetland Protection Act. We're going to put in some straw wattle erosion control at the edge of all the grading and work. We lose about 3 mature trees in the back. There's one good size, it's an oak right here. It's the biggest tree we're going to lose, and a small one right there where it says E and D. And then another one back here with probably will survive, so just outside the limit of the work. But it really is it's the only place we could put it.
Yeah.
It fits in right size. We do have to pump because it's going to be raised up above the plumbing. So it's pretty straightforward from a design standpoint.
All right, Bill, let me do this. Why don't I stop you there and open this up for questions from the members, if that's okay. Okay, questions from the members. Mary, questions for Bill on the submittal? Mary, you're on mute if you're... Oh, we lost you.
Sorry about that. The Board of Health has approved this, did you say, or it's still before them?
I know she has it. There's no waivers. We requested no waivers, so I know she can approve it. I have not spoken with her today to find out if she was not available.
Okay.
So I didn't ask. I wasn't able to ask.
Do you want us to wait for Board of Health in case there are changes, or would you rather have us make a decision?
I feel pretty confident that she's going to approve it because we have no waivers and it meets all the Title V and local requirements. So I'm comfortable. I mean, if anything, it may tweak a grade, but I won't be going beyond our limit of work that we're showing. So.
Yep, exactly. And Mason, did you say that you were at the site and you looked at the wetland line and that closest point looks reasonable to you?
Yep, I was able to go there today.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any further questions.
All right, thank you, Mary. Woody, any questions for Bill on this?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, thank you, Woody. Harry, any questions for Bill Holton?
No questions at this time, Bob. Thanks.
Thank you, Harry. Frank, any questions for Bill?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Frank. David, any questions for Bill Holt?
No, I don't.
All right, I do not have any questions. Mason, are there any raised hands from the public at this time?
Seeing none.
Okay, if anyone would like to speak on this matter, just please unmute and identify yourself. All right, hearing none, do any members request a site visit or additional information or plan amendment at this time? Okay, hearing none. I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved?
Second,
Okay, thank you. Roll call. All in favor? Mary?
Yes.
Woody?
yes.
Harry?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
And Bob Connors votes yes. Okay, this is usually any special conditions, Mary? I mean, it's a septic system replacement. It's
Pretty
pretty,
standard.
yeah, pretty standard. All right, I will entertain a motion to issue an order of conditions for 75 Pearson Drive.
So moved?
Second,
Okay. Roll call. All in favor? Mary?
Yes.
Woody?
yes.
Harry?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
And Bob Connors votes yes. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, next matter is a new public hearing for 54 Cottage Road. Unfortunately, there is no DEP file number. I did check the portal probably about 4 o'clock. Mason, you didn't get any notification that a number had been issued.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Can you give us a quick overview on this one? And I see Tom is there.
Yep. Yeah, this is a raise and rebuild in the riverfront area. And yeah, at that, I'll just open it up to Tom and he can present what the proposed construction is.
Okay. So Tom, welcome. Tom, you know the policy of the commission
Yep.
without a file number, but you certainly can open your public hearing, make a presentation, and if there are questions from the public, we can certainly open it up to that. Commission will reserve their questions until we get a file number, and
Yeah, and what I would like to ask, Mr. Chairman, is whether I'll go through and try to make my presentation as quick an overview as I can. I think there are some neighbors present, so if any of them want to speak, I think it's not their fault whether we have a file number or not. So hearing what they have to say would be helpful.
Yeah, no problem. Also, Tom, there were a couple of neighbors that were going to town hall that were not going to participate by Zoom, and town hall has a power failure. So I'm not sure where they are or who they were. They were with Mason when they lost their power.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly would encourage any neighbors with concerns to reach out directly.
Sure.
And sometimes we can resolve things before we even, get into the hearing. So,
Okay.
And then lastly, what I would ask is, since you don't have another meeting for a month, is whether the commission would consider either granting or delegating the ability to schedule a site visit to Mason once a file number has been issued, or considering a second meeting in May, just so that we can keep this thing moving, because otherwise it's a good delay. But with that said, let me share the screen and get into the presentation.
Yep, I'll let you share screen.
Okay. And it's still saying disabled.
Should be good to go now.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so as you can see, this is the location map. Location is down towards the end of Cottage, right before it takes a turn towards the river, and it's accessed through private drive. And this is the lot. The arrow's pointing to the salt marsh. There's actually it's actually pointing at where there's a row of piles. There's an existing home. The coastal bank is running right along this line, right along here. And there's a Norway maple sitting right in front of the existing house. And let me see if I can. Give me a second. I've got I don't know if the meeting controls are showing up with you, but they're showing up in my way. Just a second. There. Okay. So the lot is fairly deep, and what you'll see is we're proposing to remove this house and replace it further from the river. So the site, and I'll pull up the site plan in a second, has a plethora of resource areas. We have the tidal flats. We have land under the ocean. It's considered out here. We have salt marsh. We have coastal bank. We have floodplain. We have ACEC, and we have riverfront. So we have a number of different resource areas to deal with the performance standards on. So this is showing where the habitat is. The habitat is not right up along the shoreline, but it is in the waterway. We are proposing a seasonal dock, and the floats will clip into the endangered species habitat. So we have sent this off to Natural Heritage for review. It's also been sent to Marine Fisheries. You can see that there are some shellfish mapped in this area. I think it's soft-shelled clam. I know there's some other areas within Parker that are also mapped for oyster, but this doesn't appear to be mapped for that. So it's within AE 13, the floodplain, so it does encompass the entire lot. It is outside of the limit of moderate wave action, which is also referred to as the coastal A zone in the building code now. Here's a picture of the existing piles. And you can see behind it, there's a neighbor's dock. There's actually docks in both directions in this section of the river. Here's a view from the back of the lot, or middle of the lot, actually, sort of towards the water. You can see right here in this area, you can see the piles, existing piles out in the marsh. So basically, you've got upland lawn areas, landscape areas. The vegetation is a combination of invasive plants and then some like lilacs and things like that. There's some Norway maples, as well as some native hardwood trees. Here's the existing condition map. This is showing you, I won't spend too long on it, but we've got salt marsh, we've got a coastal bank boundary, we've got ACEC, which follows elevation 9.2, kind of comes up. I think it's actually shown right in here. The existing house is entirely within the ACEC. We will also be moving it totally out of it. The septic tank is this raised area right here. You have your outer riparian zone. Your floodplain is the entire lot. And you also have the 100-foot buffer to bank back here. So this is our demo plan. It shows we're removing a small garage area that's up in this area and the single family home here. This shows where the septic is. And what's proposed is a new home. It has a swimming pool, a patio area, driveway, new garage, and this L shape. It's in a higher area of the lot. It's outside of the ACEC, so we're essentially restoring the ACEC by removing the house. We're doing mitigated plantings in this darker shaded area here. We have a mix of seeded areas, some lawn. We have some native plants. I think all but one of the plants along the foundation are native. There's, I think, one non-native in this area, and native plants extend up into this area. And beyond that, it's a mix of just typical landscape plants that are in the outer area, the very outer riverfront, and out towards the access road. A lot of this is to meet our performance standards under the Rivers Act, under degraded, where we have to mitigate it 2-to-1 and 1-to-1 for various things, and that's covered in depth in the narrative. We propose a walkway. We're going out. We're abandoning the last 2 sets of piles. We keep the same number of piles. We'll be actually restoring the salt marsh where those piles are currently by removing them, and we can basically place the new piles and use the salt marsh vegetation in the new pile locations to patch the old pile locations and essentially make everything whole with no impact overall to the salt marsh. We have our 1.5 to 1 elevation, and then we have a gangway that goes from mean high water, spans the remaining salt marsh, and gets us out into good navigable water. We have walkout floats and a T at the end. The T at the end gets into endangered species habitat, so that's why this has been sent to them for review. And here's our fairly robust planting plan. We have, as required by the Rivers Act mitigation standards, we have trees, shrubs, and herbaceous native plants in our areas down near the river. We did try to be sensitive to neighbors by using for our tree species in some areas fairly low growing trees that will not be an immediate block to views, but we did also have to meet the Rivers Act requirements. We are removing a Norway maple right here because, as the commission is aware, the Norways are also alleliopathic. In other words, they stop the growth of other species underneath and tend to lead to more invasives. We also are proposing an invasive protocol along the bank on this western end has got a bunch of invasive plants. So we'll be removing the invasive plants and putting in native plants on the coastal bank.
Hey, Tom, let me just make a suggestion. I know you had promised us kind of an amended presentation. Do you
Yep.
want to stop there and get some questions from the public if they're present, just to give you a sense
Yeah,
of direction of the questions and direction they may want you to go in?
I had about 5 more seconds, which was to say on the last page, the commission can take a look at our impact numbers. And at that point, I'm opening it up to any questions that folks may have.
Okay. Mason, are there any raised hands from the public? And if there are, if we could just sequence them so that we address their hands. All right. Well, I'm gonna John, is it Kilman?
Killam. John Killam. And I'm here with my wife Kathy as well.
All right.
How are you?
Just give us give us your name and address, and why don't you fire away at Tom with questions you have on the project.
Absolutely. Yeah. My name is John Killam, Killam. My wife is Kathleen, and we located at 52 Cottage Road, right next door. As you're looking at the water, we're to the right of the designated spot that Tom Hughes is talking about here. So the question that I have to start things off, if you don't mind here. First off, Tom, thanks very much for sending the information to us, the notice. We appreciate that. In the narrative that we have in front of us from your company, you mentioned here the new home fully complies with floodplain requirements. How do we know that when we don't know what the house is made out of? We don't know if the foundation is going to be pilings or if it's going to be a real foundation or not. So maybe you can respond to that a little bit.
Yeah, so basically when we look at the first floor elevation, it's a 15.25, the flood elevation being 13, which means that we're elevating that first floor up above flood, and that's what the building code requires. In a location such as this, since we're not within the limit of moderate wave action, which is, if you look at a flood map in Newbury, you'll see areas where there's a zigzag line on the flood map. If you're within that, then you have to meet much more strict requirements and likely have to be up on pilings. In this case, this would be a more traditional foundation, but without a basement. So no part of it would be below grade because that is prohibited by by the building code
does that
and
mean
by
first
the
floor is
FEMA
15
requirements.
feet?
There'll be no utilities or anything like that within the plane of the flood, so that during a flood, nothing gets wet that causes somebody to have to leave the home.
Okay, can I ask a question? Hi, Tom, I'm Kathy. I have a question as you're looking at that plan that you're showing and
Yep.
where it, at the top of it, where it has stairs and then like patio steps or patio blocks. How high is that deck? And then as you move closer towards the water, you have all those other stairs. And I'm going to also ask about the pool, how
Sure.
that is being put in, installed.
So, right. So because we have to have the home floor up at that elevation to comply with flood, the patio in this area is at elevation 14.75. So you step down coming out of the home about a half a foot, which is typical, right? One step down onto the patio.
Yep.
And then basically this area, in order to keep our grading from going into the ACEC, this area has a retaining wall that kind of holds all that back. But now you're up at elevation 14 and you have your ground here at elevation 9 or 9.5. So we have to get down there. So here you're walking up the stairs. It looks like 4 stairs, 4 treads if I'm counting right, but I'm looking at another screen and it's a little bit smaller. And then we're coming down quite a few here to get off that patio down into this back area towards the water.
So that retaining wall is how high? 14 feet?
No,
I'm
that's
confused with
above
the
sea
pool.
level. 14 is above sea level. The ground in this area, so the ground elevation down in the salt marsh, it's 4.5, 5, 6 as we get up to the coastal bank. Up in this area, we get to elevation 9. And then as you move up into the area where the home is, the ground elevation starts to approach elevation 10. So it's so the first floor ends up being about 5 feet above grade where that house is being located.
So with the way the construction is being done here, a concern that we have here for our residents is how could the groundwater be affected here? We've got a shallow well, and then I know on the other side of the property, they've got a shallow well as well.
Okay. So there really should not be any impact. My understanding of the soils in that area is it's a pretty good sandy soil underneath everything. We are taking the roof runoff and we're putting it into a dry well. So we'll actually be infiltrating stuff right back into the ground, which would make it that water available for the well. And that water is a clean, a clean water, the roof runoff that runs in there. And, I'm not familiar with exactly where your well is. That's something certainly we could talk to you offline about, just see kind of where it is in relation to where we're locating the dry well and just make sure everything makes sense from that point of view. But because we're taking the water and performing some level of stormwater management and we're vegetating that area between the house and the river, which is essentially the direction the water is going to want to flow, we should be providing ample infiltration for water generated on site.
So the next question is more of a concern we have, and that is, and it may be outside of the scope of this particular topic, and I certainly would appreciate if you tell me that is the case, but it may relate to you, Tom, relative to environmental concerns, and that is because there's maybe a reason, and that is this house seems to be very right justified, moving closer to our property. In fact, some of the walls that you show here are within a matter of just a few feet from our property. In fact, the house was 12 feet, and I think maybe the structure of the wall, it got closer to like 5 or 6 feet from the property line of ours. And I'm not sure if there's a philosophy that you use here. There's probably many variables, I'm sure. We're curious about why not have it more centered into the property, at least.
All right.
I mean, we're going to have a
So
6 foot.
I think since we do, part of our performance standards is an alternatives analysis where we have to evaluate the most, within the context of these regulations, the furthest from the river that we can, out of the riverfront if we can, but we really don't have room to have everything out of the riverfront. But we had to move everything as far backwards away from the river as we could, which we did, right? We can't get much closer back here. And then we have a septic system here, and we have to maintain an offset of the septic system. So that kind of boxes us in when we have the ACEC, which literally runs right up against us here, of trying to get outside of the Great Marsh ACEC. We are generally, we absolutely cannot have any additional impact in the ACEC that offsets any of the values for which the ACEC was declared. And we are required to try to get out of the ACEC when we can. And in this case, what we've done is we had a very small box here, really, to consider our alternatives in, which is the area that's outside ACEC. And unfortunately, that was over on your side more than on the other side. And that's largely because the septic is pushing us in that direction. We do have to maintain, I think it's a 10-foot offset from the septic field.
Unless the septic field could be moved.
That creates problems of its own because it's a raised system. Then if we move that on the other end, we have to completely redo where the driveway's coming in and change the whole kind of nature of everything on site. And that also adds significant expense, and it's uncertain whether or not we actually could find a spot to perk one, given that you have a well on your side. That would mean putting the septic towards you, and there are offsets to drinking water wells and to wells on other properties. So
If I could
more
just,
than likely we
let
would
me
not
just
be able
jump
to
in
do
here.
it.
If I could jump in here for a minute. John and
Yeah.
Kathy, this meeting is going to get continued tonight, regardless of the discussion. What I'm going to suggest is, I think Tom would be willing to meet with you on site and go over these things. And I think doing that on site will be informative. And we can just pick up at our next meeting where you left off here.
Okay.
We
I'm trying to
appreciate that.
trying to
Thank you.
manage the clock as well.
Sure.
So
I get it.
if that makes sense, and we have one other John. John, I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name. I have trouble with Connors. Never mind. Protopopapus. Protopopapus. What? See, that's why I don't try to pronounce names that aren't Irish. Tom Hughes is an easy name to pronounce. John, you're on mute. If you could give us your name and your address, and if you could address your questions to Tom, that would be great. But in the same vein as I mentioned to John and Kathy, if you can discuss matters off-site with Tom, offline with Tom, we are going to reschedule a meeting. It's going to be a continued meeting, so no one's going to lose a place, but sometimes talking offline, you can have a more candid discussion. John, you're on mute. There you are.
Do you hear me now?
Yeah, John, give us your name and your address and ask Tom your questions.
It's John Protopapas, 64 Cottage Road. So my property is directly behind that property there. So I'm across the driveway from them. And so my question, and certainly, Tom, we could do this offline, that's fine. You talked about the trees and the landscaping, and at first they'll be fine, but then as they grow in, it'll start to take away views. So I look right over the septic, right out to the river. And so that's a view that we certainly find very relaxing and enjoy. And we would certainly not like to lose that. So I'm just kind of wondering what that looks like, maybe not immediately, but further down the road, if what your planting's eventually going to grow in and block that.
Yeah, so to give you a real quick answer, and let me go to that landscape plan. The existing trees that are here that you look at now are all staying. So we're not affecting them in any major way. Or I'm sorry, actually, so these are the big trees. We do have some trees going in here, and what we can do, these are Nyssa sylvitica. They don't get huge. I mean, compared to like an oak or a maple, but we can go through that. We can go through that offline and talk about them. We can also take a look and just see kind of where your house is, where you're looking, and certainly talk to you about whether there's any way that any adjustments, if it makes life better without sort of compromising our overall ability to both comply with the regs and obviously, meet our clients' needs. But we're certain, he's looking to move into a neighborhood, not fight into a neighborhood. So if we can work with folks, we'll certainly discuss things and see what we can do.
All right. Well, appreciate that for sure. Just, I guess, let us know when that's a good time to do. If there's going to be a site visit or come down to your office, I work from home, so my schedule is pretty flexible.
Okay. Yeah, I think what would be good is I think you should have my email address that is on. If you have a copy of the application, you'll see it. If not, if you can get your email to me through Mason, and the same to the Killam's,
why don't you just give Mason your contact information or allow him to share it with
Yeah,
John,
absolutely.
John
If
and John?
Mason can share it with those guys, and I'll reach out and try to find some time, and I'll see, I'll check with our team and see if I can have I may be able to have the civil engineer perhaps, come to talk about the issues that 52 raised, because I think he may be helpful with some of that, and then I can talk to the landscape designer and just see to what extent I can get other folks to come along with me. But I can at very least meet with you and go over these things and go back to the team and see what we might be able to do to address any concerns. Or maybe once we understand exactly what you're looking at, there may not be as many concerns.
John, does that work for you?
Thank you. It does.
Just reach out to Mason, and if you have any trouble with Tom's contact information. I don't see any of the raised hands at this time. Team, I'm going to make one suggestion. From time to time, we entertain scheduling an additional meeting during a particular month, and looking at the number of continuances and approaching the summer season, I'm going to make a suggestion that we entertain scheduling an additional May meeting for Tuesday, May 19th. That will let a couple of the applicants get their numbers, their DEP numbers. We can then go forward. It would give us the ability to schedule a site walk prior to the June meeting, and then depending if everything is ready and we have technical comments, we can go from there. So this is a question for the members. Is there an interest in scheduling our next meeting Tuesday, May 19th?
Yeah,
Mary,
I think that's a good idea, Bob.
Okay.
Looking at our agenda, and we always had,
Yeah, we have
meetings a month for a long time. So now that the agenda is filling up a little bit more, it makes sense to do that at least for the month of May, and we can look ahead to see if that
Yep, certainly.
is
No,
needed. But I can make that meeting.
Okay, Woody, how does that date work for you?
I think it would be helpful, and it works fine, Bob. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Harry, how about you?
Yeah, it works well for me as well.
Okay, thank you, Harry. Frank, how about you? Does May 18th, May 19th, excuse me, work for you?
I have a tentative trip plan, but it's not definite. So if
Okay.
I'm not away, I'd be happy to attend.
Thank you, Frank. David, how about you?
So far, that's a good date for me as well.
Okay, and that works for me. Okay, so we're going to schedule, our next meeting is going to be May 19th. So Tom, at this time, I'm anticipating that you're going to request a continuance to our May 19th meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
Bob, did we want to schedule a site visit on this one so that?
Well, you know what, Mary, we've been waiting for the file number and technical comments so that we would be able to look at all of the issues at that
Okay,
one
okay.
time. But we could schedule it right after our May 19th meeting and entertain, prior to the June 2nd meeting. So,
Okay, I would just advise that Tom give the surveyors or the engineers a heads up so they can stake
yep.
out the house corners.
Yeah. I'm not who's doing the review. We don't know who's doing the review on this file either. You may want to nudge them, Tom, that usually in Riverfront there's a bevy of technical comments that come back to be clarified.
Yeah, they cashed the check really quickly. They just didn't give us a
Yeah.
file number, so I don't know who's doing the review. And certainly, Mary, it's a very straightforward salt marsh delineation, but you're welcome to come out in prior to then and look at that.
All right, Tom, let me run the meeting if I may.
Yep, sorry.
All right, so I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing to our May 19th meeting at the applicant's request.
So moved.
Do we have a
Second.
second? Okay, roll call, all in favor. Mary,
Yes.
Woody,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors says yes. Okay, thank you, Tom, and thank you to the neighbors. All right, next matter
Thank you.
is a continued public hearing. Let me just make sure I'm not missing something. DEP file number 0501461, 14 Southern Boulevard. Applicant is submitting a notice of intent for proposed landscaping work and hardscape improvements. Mason, can you provide an overview and a recommendation on this matter?
Yep. So the board and I had completed a site walk. It was probably about 2 weeks ago now, where we had looked at on-site conditions with the applicant and their representative. And he had asked some questions regarding the feedback that he got from the DEP comments and regarding the feedback that he got from our first meeting. Unfortunately, again, I don't have the files right in front of me, so I can't name the changes. But the applicant has addressed the DEP comments, updated their plans, which all should be in the folder. And I am sure that he is happy to share the updates with you guys now.
Okay, if you could give us your name, the address, and your position on this project, and then give us your presentation, it'd be great.
Hi, I'm Jeff Travers. Good evening, commissioners. On property at 14 Southern Boulevard, and I'm looking to make substantial improvements. And I've put forth initial plans that were analyzed and resulted in many recommendations. I believe that our revised plans that have been submitted have met those recommendations and mitigated the concerns that DEP had at the time of the initial submission. We did have a site walk, and there were other concerns, not necessarily concerns, but recommendations. And I think that was one of the most helpful things that could have happened to help move this project forward, is to have that site walk and the commission coming back and telling us the best way to do this. And we're trying to follow those recommendations, and that's what the revised plans should show.
Jeff, do you have the ability to share the plan?
The latest plan,
the revised plan that addressed DEP technical comments and the site visit comments.
the main revisions had to do with the removal of, and I thought that those would have been available previously.
You know what it is, Jeff? We had a power failure at town hall.
Oh,
Mason
yes,
is
yes,
in
yes.
his car conducting this meeting because there's no Wi-Fi in the town, so he doesn't have his office computer available to post that.
I am just a guy who owns the house on
Oh, okay.
Boulevard
Well,
and
you know
doesn't
what?
know, you know,
I'm
how
gonna
to
go
do
to our
Zoom so much.
resident. I'm gonna go to our resident expert, Mary Rimmer. Mary, I'm assuming that this plan is in the
Yeah, let me just, if Mason, you want to let me share the screen, I can pull it up.
That'd be great, Mary. Thank you, Mary.
Yeah.
I have it up too, Mary.
Okay.
Thank you, commissioners. I apologize for my boomer.
Happens all the time.
Boomer applicant status.
Pretty good. Share, Mary.
I think this one. Okay. Is this it here?
Yeah,
Yep.
what's the revised date, Jeff, that you're?
This is 4/24/26 is the revised for Conservation Commission comments.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, why don't you just walk us through this, Jeff? And then I'm going to ask you to hold and I'll open this up to questions from the members.
Sure. This landscape plan has changed what was originally included with the original plan that removed any of the DEP concerns with regard to pavers and those. Let me see if I got the concerns that were brought up was removal of vegetation to fill, which was one of their main concerns, and that I believe I've shown that we're not going to be removing, but we're going to be replacing vegetation. They objected to the installation of concrete pavers and stone steppers in the back side of the property. That has been modified to include a boardwalk section that will help accessibility in my future years, and and will adhere to the specifications that were brought up at the site walk and the requirements that will need to be met. And we're not doing, again, for the DEP mitigation, we're not doing removal of portions of the paved driveway. So this section used to have some pavers on the driveway. Now we're just doing straight wall replacement. These are existing walls, cinder block, crumbling, that will be replaced with more attractive. I'm in a main thoroughfare in the town, but hopefully my investment will be a positive impact on the overall community. And so there's the mitigation of the DEC concerns. We also talked about our planting plants, which we have revised to adhere to the suggestions that exist for native plantings, and we will stick with that. And let's see.
You know what, Jeff, why don't I stop you there and let me open this up for questions?
Sure.
Members have done a site walk, so why don't I do this? I'll start with Mary. Mary, questions for Jeff?
Yeah, and just to refresh the members' minds, the DEP comments had to do with the removal of dune vegetation to fill and installation of concrete pavers, even permeable stone steppers, concrete paver steps, and steel edging around the house does not meet Barrier Beach dune performance standards. So it appears that most of that has been taken out. I'm just going to go through it again. And then removal of portions of the paved driveway to install concrete pavers, even in the same footprint, is highly discouraged. So I'm assuming you're going to just keep your paved driveway the way it is right now. Is that correct, Jeff?
Exactly. That was part of my submission on April 7th that referred to the fact that their concern was removal of portions of the paved
Right.
driveway, and my
no
answer
further
was
work
this
on the
element
driveway.
of this project will be removed.
Right. So that you're not going to resurface the driveway or anything like that. You're just going to leave it as is.
Exactly.
Okay. And then replacement of these retaining walls here and here,
Yes.
which is essentially being replaced in kind. It's maintenance that is allowed. So it's a different material that's being used, but it's within the same footprint of the existing walls. Then this little tree was going to stay, and there was a whole bunch of not bayberry,
Rugosa.
rugosa that was really dense in here. You wanted to take that out, and we wanted to make sure that whatever was replanted in there was native to the dunes. So I haven't looked to see what the plant list is yet.
I do have a planting plan, and unfortunately, maybe I'll hose on
look.
Mason
Look at that.
to
And
bring
then,
that up again.
so this is
But
all.
that was modified to again meet the recommendations that were given to us during the walkthrough.
Right, right. And so there's some parking that occurs on the side here as well as in the driveway. And so there was some loss of vegetation in this area here. He's proposing crushed shells to create a more formal parking area here.
Not necessarily parking, but overall general recreation. We can set up cornhole games out there with my grandkids. We can, do all kinds of things out there.
Yep.
And the general idea of doing that should be an improvement for infiltration and stabilization.
Jeff, what I would suggest, Mary's just kind of given a summary of the site visit for those of us that weren't at the site visit.
Okay.
So if there's a specific question, Mary will address it to you. That way there you.
And I think that all of this behind here to get to the back door is all new proposed, and some of this is replacing existing deck. Is that correct?
No, not at the ground level. There's no existing.
Oh, the deck is here. That's right. Okay, the deck is here. So all of this proposed here is new boardwalk and pathway, essentially.
Right. Again, there's been a significant erosion back there that has exposed my sewer pipes. I want to be able to try and add fill that will mitigate that, at the same time adding some boardwalks that will allow some better accessibility for years to come.
Right. So I remember talking about this and the access around the house, which is fine, and I thought that maybe some of the deck was going to be replaced, but maybe not. Just you're leaving that in place.
No, the deck is not going to be replaced. The deck will be, we do have plans to replace the surface of the deck only with
Surface deck. Okay.
With
fine.
Without moving any footprints, but simply it's due. And again, this is kind of like the walls. I mean,
Just the decking.
It's going to have to get done eventually.
Yep.
I want to do it now.
Sure.
When and then that's going to be that we're going to be coordinating deck work on the existing raised deck with deck work that will take place in the back of the property.
The only part that I don't remember, Bob, is this piece here. And what I mean, that is getting to a little bit to the point of just sort of covering over yard area there.
Right. This is where
the
the sewer
piece that I
pipe
was
is
worried about.
exposed, right here in this area.
Right. And that can be addressed through bringing in additional sand and bringing up the grade there. So that's the only area that I might have a little concern about. So those are my comments, Bob, if you wanted to.
Okay, yeah, no, thank you, Mary, and thank you for putting up the plan. I mean, I think the key word that Jeff used was accessibility, which adds a little more leeway than if it wasn't for, really handicap accessibility. All right, why don't Mary, I'll circle back with you, but I'll go through the rest of the members and see what they have for questions as well. If that's okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. David, I see you have your hand up. What's your question, David?
Yeah, I did the site walk with the rest of the team. I think there's an existing deck. I know there was a dog on the back porch. And I think this boardwalk that is going to be above the pipe that's exposed. It's just going to connect with the existing deck on this side on that right rear corner of the house. I think that's how I recommended how I remembered it, I should say.
Okay. Anything else, David?
No. And I think, I'm sorry, one more thing. I
Yeah,
think
certainly.
as the drawing shows a car in the driveway, I think you're going to just keep that wall there on the right-hand side. That's not going to be disturbed.
It is currently a one cinder block
Yeah.
level is going to be replaced with the same level, keeping the elevation, not expanding the driveway at all. The width of the driveway will not expand. It's going to be a replacement of the existing wall.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, that not from a Concom's position, but inconsistent with the other wall, and it didn't look like it was in great shape anyway. So
I drive by this house almost every day. I live on Annapolis Way, Jeff, so I know exactly what you're saying about a lot of your existing yard features are just approaching the end of their useful life, and you're doing
right
quantifying them all at one time.
Now or later.
Well,
I've gotten this far. Let's do it now.
Well, let's get it into the order so that you're good to go. David, anything else before I go back to the rest of the members?
No, sir.
Thank you. Woody, any questions for Jeff on this project?
No questions for Jeff. Sidewalk was very helpful, and I'm good with questions. Thank you both.
Okay, thank you, Woody. Harry, how about yourself? Any questions? You drive by this every day as well.
Yep. Yeah, I drive by it, and I'm looking forward to seeing the new work that Jeff's going to be presenting here. And I agree with him. It's going to boost the values up on that street with his nice landscaping. Everyone had some great questions, so I'm satisfied. So no questions, Bob.
Okay, thank you, Harry. Frank, any questions on this project?
My only question is what the boardwalk on the backside is going to be made of. Is it just going to be laying flat in the sand, or is it raised?
It will be raised to meet the elevation requirements that were brought up at the sidewalk. I believe it was 12-inch, I think.
Yeah.
But we'll certainly adhere to the whatever requirements.
Okay.
Do.
That's my only question.
Okay, thank you, Frank. David, any follow-up questions at this time?
No, Bob.
Mary, I'm going to circle back with you. Any additional comments you want to make? Mary?
No, just I think, was there a plant? Yeah, there is a planting plan, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. And the list, juniper, clethra.
How can you see that?
She has it on her screen.
Let me blow it up a little for you. I was just, there you go. I can find it now.
I think you made a recommendation on a couple changes. They were minor though. Mary,
Yeah.
walk.
Yep. They look good. I just don't know about the those are all fine. That's fine. Butterfly weeds need to go. Joe Pye view. Yep, that all looks good.
So they're all compliant with the
Yep.
CZM planting?
Yep.
Okay, great.
That was our intent following the site walk, was to meet the exact requirements you requested.
Perfect. Thank you
Great.
so much.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Mary. Mason, do you have any comments before I check see if there's any raised hands from the public? Well, Mason's batteries probably died on his laptop. Okay, are there any raised hands from the public at this time? I don't see any on the list.
Nope.
But if you have a comment, just give us your name, your address, and ask your questions. Okay, hearing none. Do any members have a request for an additional site walk or additional information or plan amendment at this time?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, roll call, all in favor? Mary,
Yes.
Woody,
yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors. Okay, I think, Jeff, I think you've made
We gotta
a
do a
yeoman's-
special, the order of conditions we have to vote on.
Yep, yep. I was just saying that I think Jeff's done yeoman's work in trying to meet the
Oh, yeah.
technical comments of the commission and of DEP. All right, this would be the time we would discuss any particular additional plan, any additional comments or conditions. Mary, anything you want to add?
Just that, I think it's standard in the order, but if not, and if Mason is listening to this or recording.
Well, I'll make a notation if
Yeah,
he's-
just the, any material that comes to the site is beach compatible sand or the crushed stone that, the crushed shells that you indicated. And then, the individual plantings can be, the hole itself for the plantings can be supplemented with loam if needed, but that no topsoil or anything be added, so.
Yes, that was noted from your comments at the last hearing.
So we'll just
Yeah.
make sure that's in the order of conditions, just
Okay.
because something happens or your landscaper
Yep.
goes rogue on us, so.
Okay, anything else? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to issue an order of conditions for 14 Southern Boulevard with the two conditions that Mary had mentioned, no additional topsoil, and that any sand or materials are Plum Island compatible.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, Harry and Woody. Roll call, all in favor. Mary,
Yes.
Woody,
yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Very good. I appreciate this has been an interesting experience. It's been a very good experience.
Well, if you lived in
Make
Byfield,
sure we're protecting our island. I absolutely believe that's so important.
well, if you were living in Byfield, it'd be a little different standard, but welcome to Plum Island.
So
Okay.
I can notify my friends at Bayberry that they can start work at whenever they're ready, right?
No, how it works is Mason will prepare an order of conditions. It'll be
Okay.
signed by the members. You'll receive a copy. DEP will receive a copy. And Mary, correct me if I'm mistaken. This is a 10 business day hold where the department could or an abutter could file an appeal.
Correct.
So it's 10 business days. So basically 2 full weeks is usually what it is. And then you'd be good.
From
to
the
go.
date of issuance, right?
And the issuance will come
It'll be this week.
this week.
Yep.
Should be.
Mason usually will get this out and signatures will be added. So
If you'd rather come and pick it up and to save the mailing, just let him.
No, that's not that. I don't think we're at that critical stage of start. But I do want to let them know that they've been planning on doing this work, and let's get the workers working.
yeah, tell them from June 1 on, you're probably going to be in pretty good shape.
Excellent. I'll
Okay,
put that
thank you.
down, to let them know. And
Okay, thank you very
thanks again,
much, Jeff.
commissioners.
Okay. All right, next matter is DEP file number 0501460, 45 Boston Road. Applicant is submitting a notice of intent to expand existing boardwalk systems within or within proximity to bordering vegetated wetlands. I'm just going to check. Mason, I see you're back on. Do you have any overview or recommendations on this matter? Mason, you may be on mute.
Can everyone hear?
Yes.
Yep, you lost
Not
us.
on mute. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, people can hear you now, Mason.
No, boss point on wetland and for me to confirm.
Sorry, didn't get that.
Yeah, no, Mason, for
Breaking
some
up,
reason.
Mason.
Mason, why don't you text me your comments if you could? Is the
Yep.
applicant present tonight, or is this one of the matters that's being continued?
It's going to be continued.
Okay. All right, I will entertain a motion to continue. Well, let me do this. Are there any, there's no raised hands from the public at this time? Just want to make sure.
Nope.
Seeing none.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to continue this public hearing to our May 19th meeting at the applicant's request.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, Mary, thank you. Roll call, all in favor. Mary,
yes.
Woody,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David, and Bob Connors votes yes. All right. Okay, we're getting down to the end of the pile here, team. Okay, next matter, DEP file number 0501459, Newburytown Beach Project. The town of Newbury is submitting a notice of intent, removal of debris and reestablishment of existing beach access ways. Mason informed me that this matter is also going to be continued. So I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing at the applicant's request to our May 19th meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Woody, okay. Roll call, all in favor. Mary,
Yes.
Woody,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. All right. Next matter is DEP file number 0501455. Old Newbury Golf Club applicant is submitting an NOI for golf course maintenance work, including tee box relocation, tree removal within the buffer zone areas. Mason, I'm assuming you want to try it again, Mason? See if you...
This is continued if you guys can hear me.
Okay. Okay. All right, I will entertain a motion to continue the public hearing at the applicant's request to our May 19th, 2026 meeting.
So moved.
Do we have a
Second.
second? Okay, roll call, all in favor. Mary,
Yes.
Woody,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. All right, next matter is DEP file number 0501453, 34 Central Street. Applicant is submitting a notice of intent for the construction of an MBTA residential housing development at 34 Central Street. Heidi,
Hello, everyone. Heidi Gaffney with Northwoods Environmental for the record. My understanding, and I don't know if Mason wants to say anything too, but my understanding is that this, I don't know if I don't have, I'm trying to see if the applicant is on.
yep,
I'm here.
Maureen.
Oh, there you are. Okay. I missed you on the scrolling, so I was wondering if you're here. So this has kind of come around where the comments, I submitted comments, but the stormwater review seems to be one of the larger issues. There was a peer review done through planning with engineering review, but it seems to have not addressed specifically whether it's in compliance with the stormwater standards, and there was some questions left unanswered. So I'm actually not sure if we wanted to, if we're going to have full discussion or if this was going to be continued pending additional stormwater review. Happy to go whichever direction, but
Yeah, I
didn't
mean,
know
I know Mason and I had talked about this offline, Maureen, and it would seem that getting current on the stormwater review, I know that Mason had requested a copy of all Joe Soroka's reports. Heidi, why don't you answer that? Because you're actually
yeah, so I mean where I have left off with that is I had gone through all of Joe's reports as well, and I've gone through them all. There was some questions unanswered, and there was nothing in there specific to it is in full compliance with the stormwater standards. So there was that. There's also the additional flagging that was done, because there was an ANRAD, ORAD done for this property, but there's additional flagging, just a few B wetland flags, and then the C and D, which is the bank, that's pretty apparent. But the B series wetland flags, to my knowledge, haven't been reviewed. So that was another piece. So those could be taken care of probably concurrently.
So is there an application? Is there a separate application for Concom where we're the approving authority for stormwater at this point, and a fee that has to be paid?
Can I address that, Bob?
Yeah, Mary, if you would, that'd be great.
So we have an obligation under the Wetland Protection Act to make sure that the stormwater management complies with DEP stormwater management standards. I did not see, Mason didn't seem to provide any stormwater report with the material that we received. So I don't know what the status of the stormwater report is. Stormwater is going to be a big issue for this project, or a big concern. We want to make sure it's correct. In addition to that, the town has a stormwater bylaw, and any construction over an acre is required to submit under the stormwater bylaw. We only have draft regulations right now that were drafted in 2024. So it's a question for Lisa, me, as to whether or not we should be accepting stormwater bylaw applications in addition, because we are the permit authority for that as well, under the MS4 requirements for the town. So in either way, the standards are likely to be very similar between the stormwater bylaw and what DEP is going to require. And my primary concern, well, among others, is that we have a failed culvert that this drains into, all this site, or a good part of it anyway, into basins, but into the wetland, and then into this partially clogged 12-inch pipe. So I think that we need to have a peer review of, we need to receive a copy of the stormwater report if we don't already. And Maureen, maybe you have access to that, and you can tell us. I don't know if your civil engineer is present at the meeting tonight that can address that.
Yes, thank you, Mary. So I'm going to turn this right over to Beals and Associate Christian Smith. He is the design engineer on the project, and he will have all the answers.
Great.
Now, Mary, Maureen, question. There's been amended plans submitted to the Conservation Commission that were not part of the original subdivision submittal.
We submitted plans back in March, and we're in the process of revising some more plans in terms of just comments from the site walk, comments from the last minute, so the last meeting. So I'm anticipating submitting hopefully sometime this week. I'm happy that the commission is going to have a second meeting in May. But I did want to have Christian speak to the commission about the drainage. I know this is a big concern. And I think he may be able to address some of those questions you have.
All right, that'd be great if he could just give us his name and his function on this project.
Absolutely. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. And by the way, God bless you, Mr. Clifford. Saw he just sneezed. I apologize. Yes, so we have provided stormwater analyses in a full report, including the one that went to DEP subsequent to the planning board approval throughout this entire process. And Joe Sirwatka did indeed provide an extremely comprehensive review of the entire drainage system, aside from the exit lane, which is why we're before you for the bulk of this project, because that was a stipulation that we explore that by the planning board. And I know obviously Woody Knight can corroborate or I guess discount anything that I say, because he was the planning board chairman through that entire process. But there was an extensive stormwater review. There is an existing stormwater report, which I believe Maureen has provided to the commission. And essentially to the culvert in question, the existing 12-inch culvert, That leads downstream to more 12-inch culverts. So making that larger is certainly not going to change the outflow of this wetland. And quite frankly, I think if we were to propose something that was larger, then you have the potential of actually draining the wetland, which is probably not going to be looked upon favorably either. But to that culvert, we are showing a significant reduction under all three of the design storms that, well, we also look at the 1-inch water quality volume, but that's mostly for pond design. But the 2-year, the 10-year, and the 9-year storm, the 100-year storm, which is over 9 inches of rain in 24-hour period. And I think we can all agree that is pretty close to a hurricane, if not a hurricane. And we are showing a vast reduction. I think that the 100-year storm, we show about a 1/3 peak flow reduction. In the 10-year storm, we show about a 50% reduction. And if I'm not mistaken, the 2-year storm, I believe there was a 0.35 cubic feet per second from this property headed to that culvert. And we reduced that down by virtue of the front pond there for the most part, and collecting some upstream land area, which gets caught in the closed drainage system under the roadway and sent to that pond from 0.35 down to 0.05. So some pretty significant reductions in stormwater. And, you know, we were clear with the planning board that when we went through to initiate the full design of the exit lane, which you see on the plans now, that, you know, Joe has done the review on everything else having to do with stormwater on the property, and we would just deal with DEP on that. And we do have a review back and have responded to Department of Environmental Protection as well, with regard to that additional stormwater review by them. So I think, I mean, are there other questions that are?
Yeah,
that are
I have
Commission?
one. I have one for you,
Please.
Kristen. So on this 12-inch culvert, I certainly understand that downstream it's all 12 inches. Have we cambered the culvert to just make sure that it's not partially collapsed, and at least it's functioning within the standard discharge of a 12-inch culvert? And if not, I think that may be you know, a critical feature that we should consider, just to make sure that it is a 12-inch culvert and it hasn't collapsed or it's blocked or whatever that.
Yeah, I'm not aware of anybody putting a camera device down there, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I can just add to that, when we did the site visit, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago now, we did see water flowing into the culvert. There was a little area dug out. I'm assuming it was the town that did it right before the inlet. So there is water flowing into it.
Okay, I just want to make sure that it's going to handle the capacity of a 12-inch line, Maureen, just with the concerns that the neighbors have raised. One other question, and it's on a different topic. Just curious on the status of the demo. I wasn't available for the site visit. Has the house and all of the outbuildings been removed? That's just a question of curiosity.
So the birds and the ducks are gone. I know that. They had some asbestos in the house. So they were when I talked to Jerry last week, he had a guy come in because of course they have to dispose of it properly.
Doing all the abatement prior to demo permit. Okay.
Right. So it's still up, but they're working on it.
It's in process. Okay, why don't I hold all of you right there? Mary, do you have anything else before I see if there's any public comments that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
No, just I mean the culvert itself under Central Street, it was cleared in front of it, and there was a trickle flowing in there. It's really flat, you know, wetland, so it doesn't have a lot of gradient, and so it needs to build up pretty far before it starts getting into that culvert, and it doesn't appear to be fully functional. So I think that definitely should be looked at some point or another, because It appears to be silted in, and it's, there was just a very small amount of flow that was going into it. Somehow or other, we need to get into our record the peer review information on the stormwater design, and so that we can look at it and have that as part of our process of determination on this project. If I am understanding Christian correctly, there is in addition to what Joe already looked at, he has not looked at the additional access road as part of that review. And so we need to incorporate that part of it into the overall review. It would be great to have Joe come to a meeting too and provide some assurances to us about some of this, because it's a big project and it's draining to an area that's very sensitive to the neighborhood. It already experiences flooding. And so, if we don't get this right, then it would, it does have the potential for affecting other properties. As far as the ANRAD that we filed, that was approved, the ANRAD was filed at the time when the access was not proposed across the wetland. So only one side of that wetland was flagged because it was only relevant to the only side facing the work was relevant. Now the back side has been flagged. We did a site visit and we did look at those flags on the other side during that site visit. So I don't have it concerned specifically about that. I don't believe.
Are you looking for an updated plan showing additional flagging, Mary? Is that what
I
you're?
think it's on the plan.
Yeah, the last
Correct, it's on the
revision.
plan.
Yeah.
It should be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But
But your question is, has Joe looked at it to see if it has any impact on stormwater from our perspective?
well, he hasn't looked at the road that's going across that wetland.
Okay, but it's one of the items we want him to check.
Yes.
Okay. Mary, anything else?
I mean, I think that this is there are a number of questions about the replication area, some of which have were discussed and have been incorporated. I don't know if there's any further work that's been done on the replication area. We talked about using some of the existing lawn area as replication area rather than cutting down trees, so that we can minimize the amount of disturbance in that.
So that's a game plan, Mary, and that's going to be incorporated into the plan set and into the wetland replication / restoration report now.
Yep.
So I'm happy to incorporate those things. That's not a problem. It was more or less, I was trying to coordinate all of the revisions and then Heidi's second review and just trying to compile everything.
Right. So we're missing still a fair chunk of information to be.
Which seems to be in process, if I'm hearing Maureen correctly.
Yep.
Okay. Mary, anything else?
That's it for now. Thanks.
Okay. Are there any members of the public? Let's see. Kathleen, if you could, I see one raised hand. Kathleen, if you could just give us your name and address, and if you have a question, just fire away. And Maureen or Kristen will provide you with the answers.
Okay, Kathleen Sperling, 10 Parker River Drive in Byfield. As you know, Parker River Drive is off of Central Court. I would just be interested in knowing what the members of the commission who went and did the site visit thought of the site itself, because we were not able to interface with anybody because it continues to be flooding into Mr. Scuderi's property. And I believe he sent some photographs of his well, which was overflowing, which is close to the wetlands, so that the commission could see it. So I'm just interested in what the people who went to the site visit saw, since we see it all the time.
Kathleen, could you just give me your address again? I
Sure.
just want to make sure my notes are
Sure.
accurate, because Mason, the poor guy, is sitting in his car and not very capable of.
Yeah, we just got the electricity back like at 5:30 here. So
So what's your address, Kathleen?
10 Parker River Drive.
10 Parker River. Okay.
And I would ask that a lot of these reports be put up online so that people could read it.
Okay. What I would suggest, Kathleen, is when documents become, Maureen, you're thinking by the end of the week, you're going to have a majority of Heidi's initial questions answered.
Yes, that's my game plan, to provide the commission and Heidi with the supplemental information.
Okay. So Kathleen, what I would suggest is just reaching out to Mason Farrick, our agent, when those documents are available, and he would likely make copies for you, or they could be posted to the website. I'm not quite sure what would be more timely for you or your neighbors.
Well, I would ask them to be put onto the website because the members of the neighborhood could read them on the website versus me getting them and then me having to send them out to the people in the neighborhood to look at, because there are people who are reading and commenting, and I believe some previous comments were sent in, and I'm not sure if they were addressed or not. But I'm just concerned about that area since they're now going to put a street into Central Court with the wetlands there. And the other issues are for the planning board with putting the street there.
Okay. Mary, I think, can you address her question? She was asking what your observations were at the sidewalk.
Sure. I'll just get out of this here. We did receive some comments from neighbors, and they were included in our Dropbox. One of them was a civil engineer. The impression of this from the site walk is that, you know, there are the majority of the project site is out of our jurisdiction entirely. We only have jurisdiction over the area within the wetland and 100 feet from it, and the stormwater. So it extends beyond 100 feet to the extent that the stormwater runoff, you know, how it's captured and where it's directed to. You know, the site is in disrepair, and we know, and we can definitely see that the wetland it has an unknown origin. It appears that it might have been created at some point. It's not a very natural system, and it doesn't have a very large watershed area contributing to it. But there's a very high water table there, and that's reflected in the neighbors' yards along this, you know, the street bordering on the area bordering Central Court. So I'm very sensitive to the fact that, you know, we have wet conditions already, and we want to make sure if everything is the stormwater is being directed in that direction, that it's attenuated properly. There's no way to build a development and not increase the volume of runoff because you're creating paved surfaces in areas that would be ordinarily, you know, rain when it falls, ordinarily going into the ground. It's going to go across rooftops and pavement and into a closed drainage system. And that volume is directed into the basins and then into the wetland. That the engineering that's required is to reduce the peak rate of discharge into the wetland so that it can't be any higher than existing conditions. And by doing that, it should mitigate flooding impacts on neighbors. But it's different than, you know, you still will have a large volume of stormwater runoff to handle. And so we just want to make sure that it's, you know, it's mitigated to the full extent it's required to by DEP. And since none of us are PEs, we rely on the town's civil engineer to provide us with some competence in that department.
So if I understood Kristen correctly, the analysis that you've provided, Kristen, is that there's going to be a 1/3 reduction. And do you have your hand raised? Why don't you just address Mary's question?
Yeah, it's approximately a 1/3 reduction under the 100-year storm, which is the 9-inch rain event in 24 hours.
Right.
It is a much larger reduction in the smaller storms. And in fact, the 2-year storm, we are compelled to look at stormwater volumes. And the stormwater volume to that culvert, because obviously the entrance of that culvert is our analysis point for where the water drains from our property to that point. We do have a reduction under the 2-year storm event to that culvert entrance.
Reduction in volume is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
and that's depicted and detailed in the Mass DEP and the local stormwater analyses reports that we provided to the town under application here and with several iterations of planning board.
And you mentioned that DEP had done some analysis for you or something? I didn't understand.
Well, they reviewed our analysis.
Okay.
Okay.
Which is just part of your DEP stormwater permit.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we seem to always circle back to the 12-inch culvert and just making sure that it's functioning as proposed.
Yeah. And I would mention we went through the Scuderi property in pretty great depth during the planning board proceedings, and what it has determined, and particularly now that Maureen has gone out and flagged that side of the wetland area, is that wetland expands over onto Mr. Scuderi's property.
Yeah.
There is actual wetland on that parcel, which is why he sees, a wet yard up towards the front of his property during the wet periods of the year, because that is actual physical jurisdictional wetland. Well, maybe it's not jurisdictional. I would leave that to Maureen because I'm assuming that's mowed lawn over there. But there is certainly the hydrophytic soils and vegetation, I
Still
believe.
jurisdictional. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Kristen, I see Nino has his hand raised. Nino, if you could just give us your name and address. And if you have questions for Maureen or Kristen, Christian, please fire away.
Nino Scuderi, 3 Central Court. Yeah, I mean, I still have very big concerns. You say, Christian, I mean, during the whole planning board, the leach field is going to be ginormous, right? How many gallons of water are you going to be dumping into the ground from that? Okay. And then you're going to be removing a lot of trees. You're going to be removing a lot of soil that's absorbing some of this water. Okay. My leach field failed already after 4 years. Okay. Why did it fail? Is it because there's a really high water table in the area and it varies, from year to year? I mean, I don't care the studies you do. This is the reality of it. I'm seeing it firsthand. Okay. Now you guys are saying my land is wetland. Why is it wetland? Is it because the culvert over years hasn't been draining properly and now my yard is all wetland? I mean, I just don't understand how anybody can be entertaining a project this size in this area. Christian, can you tell me how many gallons of water this leach field is sized for? I've asked this before. Is it 40,000 gallons of water that's going to be dumped in there daily?
It's designed for 9,800 gallons a day.
9,800. So 44. There's 44 units, right? I mean, I have a 3-bedroom home, and mine's like 380 gallons a day. So say you take 200, multiply that by 44. Yeah, about 9,000 gallons a day. So I don't know. I'm at a.
We don't have a lot of jurisdiction over the leach field because it's not within the geographic area that we're covering under this filing. The Conservation Commission is limited in what it can do. The Board of Health will will review that, and
that's also Joe Shawaka. Okay.
Yep.
Could the town also get another professional engineer to look at all this stuff? The other thing was I thought during the whole planning board, I sat in every meeting and it seemed like it was kind of pushed through because of timing and all that. And they wanted to see if the road was going to get approved. And then if the road didn't get approved, some other concerns would get addressed again during the next planning board phase. So if the road doesn't get approved by you guys, it's going back to planning board. So there may be additional concerns that planning board had that we'll address if the road doesn't get done. That was my interpretation of the whole planning board. So
Could I address that, Mr. Connors?
Yeah, please do, David. Oh, excuse me, Christian.
That's quite all right. Yeah, no, the Board of Health has reviewed and approved the septic system. That is a done deal. And all the conditions were in the order of conditions as far as the planning board approval for the project. Just a little history for the Conservation Commission. We had a two-way in and out at the location of the roadway on Central Street. And looking, I believe it's to the east on Central Street. We met the AASHTO safe site distance at that location. The board felt that they would have preferred some additional factor of safety to that site distance, I guess we could call it. And they said, well, we would really prefer that to be an entrance in and a connection for an exit lane out to Central Court, which is, again, largely why we're here before you during these proceedings. But that was the only issue as far as if this road fails, the exit lane, I mean, either by this commission or by DEP review, then we simply go back to the approved dual entrance exit at the Central Street location where that road was just narrowed up a little bit to provide for an in drive only. That was it. But the septic design has been approved by the Board of Health. Deb worked with Joe Sirwatka simply because her mother is an abutter to this project. And she took his review, which was, again, quite extensive, many rounds of comments and revisions. But that septic system has been approved.
So can I make a comment, Bob?
Yeah, certainly, Mary.
Yeah, that's confusing to me that you're saying that the planning board would approve the original road layout. The whole reason that they came to us with this roadway across the wetland is because the planning board didn't want that and wouldn't approve it. So, I mean, it goes to whether or not this is a necessary impact or not. So if either the Board of Health, I mean, the planning board is going to allow it or not allow it. And maybe Woody, you can.
Well, yeah, Woody can probably jump in here, but as I say, we met the safe site distance according to the AASHTO regulations, but they would have preferred a factor of safety to that. So they felt, and they spoke with their emergency response officials, who all felt that a secondary way out of this particular project would be beneficial from a public safety perspective. So that's I believe how we left it, Woody, is in the order of conditions. If this doesn't go, we simply revert back to the two-way entrance exit at Central Street.
Which is true. According to the traffic studies and traffic reports, the line of sight was the bare minimum. I think it was 2 feet from not being a passing line of sight. And that also included disrupting the buffer in front of both 34 Central and the abutting property towards the fire station. The improvements would have to have been made in their buffers as well and disrupting the neighbors. By having the exit road come out onto Central Court, it is agreed upon by the traffic consultants as for both the applicant and our peer review traffic consultant, more than ideal line of sight, improves the line of sight incredibly, and that's why we went with option B, which was to have a one-way entrance and the exit come out onto Central Court.
Yeah, you can see where I'm going, Heidi, and probably Maureen too, is that if we're allowing wetland impact to occur, it has to be demonstrated that there's not an alternative. And if there is an alternative, then that has to be used. So we were under the impression that there wasn't an alternative, that the planning board didn't approve it, and so that's why we're seeing this. So if it's still a potential alternative, I don't know, that may change
So
calculus a little bit.
Mary, as part of this, I'm sorry, Heidi, to interrupt. As
Go
part
ahead,
of the
Maureen.
supplemental information, I included planning board's decision, which, you know, they explicitly say in the decision that they prefer this alternative exit roadway and that they wanted us to go to conservation with this alternative.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna, sorry, Chair, if I can speak.
Yeah, no, certainly. Go ahead, Heidi.
And yeah, and I had just I just recently read through the entire planning board decision, and I did note in my comments that it was they approved it contingent upon the commission approving this, but in the language in there, it does state that should the commission deny it, it would be reopened on the planning board side. There was not a denial. So yeah, that was something important to mention as well.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Nino, do you have any other questions? This matter is going to be continued.
Yes,
to
no,
May
I
19th.
just want to make sure all the due diligence is done.
Yeah.
So when Joe Sawaka reviewed everything, do we know if he knows my leach field failed since he's filling in for Deb? Is that something that I can be, you know, I tried reaching out to Joe at one point and he said, you know, I called him directly and he's like, we're a long way away. Now all of a sudden I hear, you know, everything's done.
Yeah.
Everything's been approved. I just don't get a good feeling about any of this.
No.
Well, why don't we do this? I think a lot of questions have been opened and answered. This matter is going to be continued. We're waiting for Maureen's updated response to Heidi's work analysis. So at this point, I don't know if there's much more that's beneficial to discuss. I think we've addressed a lot of these issues. Mary, I think you've raised an interesting point. But I think at this time, we're going to start going in circles here, in all honesty. So unless there is some new information or a new question, I'm going to entertain a motion to continue this public hearing.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Maureen.
is Walker on board to review it? Has the commission given him permission to review the additional information?
That's a question that Mason, my understanding is there's been a discussion about looping Joe in. I don't know the status of that. Mason, if we can determine what you're saying or text me,
I believe where it was left off that it would be open for the board's discussion on tonight's meeting, if they felt that was necessary or not.
We should vote to authorize him to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
so
you.
No, thank you from our end for adding clarity to that. Okay. I will entertain a motion to secure the services of the stormwater consultant that the town uses.
So moved.
Give
Second.
a second. Okay. All in favor? Mary?
Yes.
Woody?
Yes.
Harry?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
And Bob Connors. Okay. So the last order of business, I think, is entertaining a motion to continue the public hearing. If that's without objection, I'm going to proceed with that motion. Okay, hearing no objections. I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing at the applicant's request to our May 19th, 2026 meeting.
So moved.
Okay, second. Okay, roll call, all in favor. Mary?
Yes.
Woody?
Yes.
Harry?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
And Bob Connors votes yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And thank you for all your patience. It's been a long meeting.
Thank you, folks.
Okay. All right. Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you.
Have a
Chris
good night.
and Christian. All right. June meeting schedule. Right now, Mason, you had proposed 2 meetings in June. What I'm going to suggest is let's just schedule the June 2nd meeting. And at that meeting, we can make a determination if a second meeting is warranted for the month of June.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
I think originally we had voted just to have 1 meeting through May. So I think
Right.
technically at the end of May, we actually go to 2 a month in June. But yeah, like you said, that can be discussed at a consequence.
Yeah, usually during July and August, we go back to one meeting a month as the holidays and vacations impact, availability and quorums. But
Yep.
so yeah, we'll just look at that on a month. So let's do this, team. I say let's just schedule 1 meeting a month, and at that meeting, we can make a determination if a second meeting in that particular calendar month is warranted.
As long as that works for applicants, because they won't know when they're filing. We have to hold a hearing within 21 days of receiving an application, so that's it. I guess it just depends on whether
Yeah.
anything comes in. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we should know that by that meeting, or Mason can
Yeah, I suppose. Yep.
inform me and I can call for it. So,
Okay.
okay. Any staff reports or updates, Mason?
I got nothing. Hopefully, I'm back in action next meeting and
All right, that's
actually I'm not in my car.
I have to tell you, Mason is doing yeoman's work. We were talking to him about 20 minutes to 6. He couldn't get home because they were blocking the road because of the wires being down or the pole being down. And it literally just said, I'll figure it out. And, here we are. So thank you very much, Mason.
Good pivot.
Yeah. All right. It is now 8:40. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Okay, roll call. All in favor? Mary?
Yes.
Woody?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
Harry? David?
Yes.
Thanks.
Is there a motion to reconsider? All right. Listen, thank you, everyone. We piled through a lot of work tonight, and thank you for your participation and your patience.